like in Drake's case, because of the success, he's feeling the backlash of his success. Right now, everything that he said he did, they did in that lawsuit. They did it.
What do you mean?
Like the Universal Music Group,
reducing the price of
everything
the
that he did is a part of marketing.
I feel that too. Yep.
They do it for everybody.
Yes,
they probably did it for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
In light of Drake's latest album and its record-breaking sales, it is evident that, above all else, one of the main reasons this project failed was that no other artist wanted to be on it and perform the same kind of work that they did for Drake's previous albums. In the end, this brought something fresh and engaging to the table, making up for the dull performances he has been providing. Overall, Drake has come to the realization that, in contrast to his previous position, the power of all he possesses is essentially worth very little. He is currently struggling with the idea that, in the present music market, his OVO moniker alone will only fail without any features or support. At the moment, Drake will make an effort to never acknowledge that he has fallen off, since he still has plans to achieve more this year. As a result, he is purportedly engaged in another project, as he attempts to salvage his already defunct career. It appears that Drake's ability to make this album surpass the disgrace of Scary Hours 3 will depend on the artist he chooses to work with. Right now, Drake has J. Cole at the top of his list of artists he wants to collaborate with. Drake is currently working on new music and trying to get back in touch with Cole in order to preserve his career, while J. Cole is preparing to embark on another run in anticipation of his album The Fall Off. But before we delve any farther into this, please remember to subscribe and leave a like. Even if this video discusses a situation that could potentially benefit Drake, his fans will still be upset because they don't want to think that even he is aware of his current situation and that the only way he can ever succeed is with the help of another artist. In the case of Drake and J. Cole, Cole has returned to the spotlight on his own this year with his new song Clouds, which demonstrates unequivocally that regardless of our opinions regarding his decision to walk away from the biggest beef in rap history and the fact that it put an end to any argument he had with Kendrick Lamar, Cole has managed to salvage his career by simply returning to what his audience wants and what hip-hop fans will always value, some elite-level rapping. Drake, on the other hand, simply lost everything after he collapsed against Kendrick. Cole's new single, Clouds, features verses that began this new chapter in his career with an early contender for Verse of the Year, particularly the second stanza. As for Drake's current situation, we do know that he is still working on additional music, presumably because Cole is beginning to regain some level of success and respect, while at the same time, Drake is obviously losing more and more. In between pitiful publicity stunts, he sits back and considers ways to regain his place in hip-hop culture and try to salvage his career on the charts and what remains of his legacy, all the while being in hiding and on the opposite side of the globe from Kendrick Lamar and the rest of the rap scene. As Drake has done for so long, he now understands that in order to remain relevant and continue to rise, particularly at this point when he lacks momentum on his own, he must collaborate with another artist and have them fill in all the gaps in his repertoire. As J. Cole prepares to release The Fall Off, an album that has been in the works for almost 10 years, it is undeniable that this is one of the most anticipated albums in the music industry at the moment, regardless of your feelings toward Cole. All of this means that Cole is getting the momentum he needs to establish himself as one of the most influential MCs of our time, even though he isn't the best in rap this year because Kendrick Lamar put a stop to that argument. Now that Drake is aware of this, the one thing that sets Cole apart from him and Kendrick Lamar in the first place is that J. Cole doesn't harbor grudges or beefs and doesn't even want to argue, especially with someone he views as a friend. Given that Cole wrote a song about it last year and essentially invited Drake back to him with Port Antonio, Drake does recognize a weakness in Cole that he might be able to exploit to try and gain a position in hip-hop that no other MC would ever let a man who brought paperwork into a rap feud obtain. Cole's desire to constantly be the good guy and avoid taking a strong stand against another of these artists is the reason behind all of this. Drake realized that Cole might be the one who could save him for good, and he did like the post when Cole released Port Antonio, which did demonstrate how he received this message regardless of how Drake may have felt when Cole initially backed out of the beef. Since Drake now communicates more openly through posts than through his music, I do believe that he is telling us all we need to know by doing something like this. On the other hand, J. Cole recently added the new songs Clouds and Port Antonio to his official musical canon by making them available on streaming services. This shows that despite any misunderstandings that may have existed at the time of Cole's song's release, he is being true to everything he stated in that record and still wants to maintain a positive relationship with Drake. Ultimately, acknowledging the current situation, assessing the positions of both parties, and above all, realizing that Drake's career is in ruins and that, as a result of the poor reception of his collaborative album with Party Next Door, he will have to collaborate with every single artist who still has a relationship with him in order to receive even a small portion of the publicity and fanfare that he once enjoyed. J. Cole is going to be the person who has the most potential to assist Drake when you look down the list of everyone he could possibly work with on a new record, or who he could feature on in any way, whether that be on a feature himself or an appearance during a tour. This is because of the performance they can give and the opportunity it would create to give him attention that he otherwise would not be able to get right now. Given how this feud began, of course because they collaborated on a song, having Drake and Cole side by side will at least bring their fan bases closer together. Regardless of how much hip-hop has changed since Kendrick Lamar recently redefined what the genre actually looks like, their fan bases are still sizable, and they are still pursuing victories, so it will still be worthwhile, even though it will never return them to the top spot. As demonstrated by the way J. Cole concluded last year with his Inevitable series and his 10-year anniversary show for Forest Hills Drive, both of which he had planned for a long time before this beef even began, it is clear that he will continue to be the nicest guy in the rap industry, and that he has actually told Drake more than Kendrick Lamar that he will never turn on him and that he wants them to be on the best terms possible. Before his career truly came to an end, he was attempting to show what had brought him to this point by narrating his career's journey and singing his most famous record. Overall, we can already see that J. Cole's plans have not altered in response to the chaos he caused by pulling out of the beef. Cole's steadfastness and current plans have put him in a position where, despite dropping a few spots in the Rap Power rankings, because last year not only did Kendrick, but numerous other rappers had significantly better years than he did, he's still in an ideal spot to have success and perform up to his usual standards, something Drake obviously lacks, as his album saw a near 50% decrease in sales from his last in every single category possible. This is in contrast to Drake, who has done everything he can in response to his losses and the way that people have changed their perceptions of him in hip-hop after he lost to Kendrick. However, now that Cole is holding to his plans and maintaining his current vision, we also know that in terms of Drake and Cole's relationship, Drake did record a verse for The Fall Off already, and he is expected to be featured on that album, unless Drake has told Cole otherwise and won't allow him to release his feature. It is evident that Drake and Cole were working closely together before to their dispute, which naturally triggered everything because the two had this talk on stage while they were both on tour and performing so many gigs together. They also created two songs that we have previously heard. Drake is desperate for a victory, which is crucial given that Cole is just getting back to his plans. However, Drake is also aware that he can never compete with Cole at this time due to his extensive losses, and the only way he can even gain anything from him is by reuniting with him. Although it is obvious that Drake will not be going back to the places where Cole appears to be and where the other major rap artists have been, because he is determined to keep as far away from Kendrick Lamar and everything surrounding him as possible. We will eventually learn that Drake and Cole have been in contact in one way or another. Together, we will see that these two will eventually release more music. All because, regardless of what transpired during their feud with Kendrick Lamar and how each of them fared in that regard, J. Cole's momentum and mentality, which has caused him to avoid a feud with anyone he has ever considered a friend, and Drake's desperate mindset, which is now forcing him to begin hiring features who can try to help his future work and ultimately become a stronger name in the hip-hop playing field again. All of this is pointing to the fact that Drake and Cole will soon reunite. It will be fascinating to observe how much momentum J. Cole has at that point, and whether it can truly have an impact on Drake receiving any meaningful attention at this time. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this collaboration and how Kendrick Lamar handles it, especially because we are witnessing Drake do all in his power to return, and Cole is attempting to leave the rap industry without getting into any more feuds. The reunion between Drake and Cole, after everything that has transpired, particularly for Drake, will highlight how his loss has taken him so far, that it is literally forcing him to repeat the various ways he has failed and ruined everything. However, at this point, that beef is over, and Kendrick Lamar has proven everything he ever needed to and more. Because when we put this into perspective, he made their words his reality, as he was the one who ended up becoming bigger than the Super Bowl. Really, I don't think pursuing Cole in this way will assist Drake in any way. Regardless of how fantastic J. Cole is, or how much of a return he makes, given everything Drake is doing and how much he is failing. Having said that, please share your thoughts on the likelihood of Drake and J. Cole reuniting, as well as your predictions for the future of this. If you've seen the entire video, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on everything. As I've been saying, the Drake fans don't like what I have to say. You should watch the suggested video if you've reached this stage and would like to hear how Drake too went crazy about his album failure and Kendrick Lamar while on tour at the same time.